And now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the moment has arrived. With us today on the phone, it's the one, it's the only, it's the legend, it's the man, the myth, here, coming at you. T-Boz, bringing you words of wisdom and moments of meditation. Good morning, sir.
It's Frosty the Snowman with that. Here comes Frosty. We thought we retired him, but he came in and he's melting hearts. Let me tell you that. And now he's going back outside. George, could you help Frosty out? Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Williams. And thank you for coming in with the sled dogs and everything to make this happen. Whatever your mother ate for 9 months, everybody should eat. And you are a brother that I love, and I thank you for everything you're doing to make this happen. Come on in, everyone. George, there's plenty of coat hangers down there. And, no, you can leave your shoes on, ma'am. They clean up after you're done. Don't worry about the snow. Come on in, everyone. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in with the weather. Wow, we got a lot of people considering the weather. Yeah, George, there's all hangers down there. Yeah, don't worry about the floor. It gets wet. That's fine. It's good. So, everyone, wave to Jock across the street. There he is. Oh, by the way, just a programming note. Next week is our Valentine's special, and the program is going to be about love. So there's Jock. Jock, I said love, not sex. Look at him. He's all jumping up and down over there. I'm down. I'm down there, big guy. I know the snow is on the roof, but whatever. By the way, today was the blizzard of 78. The state was shut down for 3 days. So if you're born in November of 78, now you know why. So there you go. The blizzard of 78. So let's not complain with today. Come on in, everyone. Plenty of room. They're over by the radiators. Thank you, George. Then, the big guy in the back. Hi, how are you? You're here every week. What is your name? Dave. How tall are you? 6'3". Wow. That's your what? Her name was Sylvia. How long you guys married? 53 years. This guy's here every week, Jock. He's got a big smile on his face. He always contributes to the student shows. So, Big Dave, everybody say hi to Big Dave in the back. Got a big smile on him. What a great guy. Thanks for being in here. All right, let's get rolling with our program. Before we get over to Stan the Coffee Man, this is the shout-out. I'm going to keep doing this. Relay for Life, June 7 and 8 for cancer research in Farmington. Let me make sure I get the school right because, if I get that wrong, I'll be in trouble. And it's going to be at the Irving A. Robbins Middle School in Farmington. Great organization, Relay for Life. Lady Diana is very involved in this. I've become involved in honor of my wife's 10-year passing from lung cancer. I want to thank all of you that have contributed so far. And if you haven't gotten a call from me yet, you will. But great thing. And a lot of good ways to donate there, not expensive. They do have a website and a Facebook page. And actually, this volunteering effort by Lady Diana is actually going to tie into today's theme. So let's get over to Stan. Stan, stay with me. Our coffee man. And what do we got in the big silver pot today for all these snowgoers? Jamaican French vanilla. Ooh, Jamaican, considering like a place where the sun is shining. And we have all types of cookies, and these are all sugar-free, right? Wow, all kind of cookies, and wow, look at that. And chocolate chip, and oatmeal raisin, my favorite. And Stan, who is our sponsor for the dessert table, none other than the sports bar downtown, Crossroads, which ties into, I think there's a football game this week, Jock. I'm not sure. But anyway, Crossroads is sponsoring us. Jock had them on a couple of weeks ago. They do a tremendous job for the town of Torrington. So we thank them for sponsoring the dessert table. Thank you, Stan, for coming in with the weather. I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah, George, there's some more pens and papers down the hall. Good. So we got George by the door is in, Big Dave, and then Stan. And so let's get into our topic, theme, program. You guys can call it what you want. So Lady Diane and I were on our way to the big model railroad show up at the Big E a couple of weeks ago. So don't tell me there's nothing to do in the winter, boys and girls. You got to put phone down, turn the TV off. There's plenty of things to do during the months of January, February, March. So we're on our way up to the Big E train show, and I was telling her about my younger daughter who was very involved in 4-H, and we did, as I've said on this program many times, many shows, dairy shows. She showed dairy cattle. She finished the 5th in all of New England in dairy showmanship, and that was quite an accomplishment. My only regret is that her mother wasn't there to see her achieve that, but she finished top 5 in all of the New England states. And so on our way up there, I was talking a little bit about 4-H, and got to talking about the 4-H pledge. And I said to Lady Diana, this would be a great basis, okay, a great foundation for the program. So today's program, we're going to take the 4-H pledge, which, by the way, was written by a man named Otis E. Hall in 1918. He was from Kansas. He was a 4-H'er. And he wrote this pledge. It was adopted in 1927. And then in 1973, they added the word world. You'll see that in a minute. And so, and it's been with 4-H ever since 1918 or 1927. So we're going to take the 4-H pledge, and I'm going to read the pledge to y'all. And we're going to take the 4-H pledge, and then I'm going to incorporate it into our living today, okay, how we can live today. The interesting thing about the 4-H pledge is when my daughter was involved in dairy showing, she was competitive, okay, like my friend, the late Dave Rennis, said, boy, Rachel is hard at it. I mean, they'd be out in the rain and the snow sometimes, and she was a competitor. Up at Big E, I mean, you got in front of her, you better watch out. She'd run you over. What's interesting with the 4-H pledge, there's nothing in it about success principles. There's nothing in it about competition. There's nothing in it about, like Tony Robbins, be the best you can be and all of that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I read this, I was really taken aback that the pledge has more to do with better living and giving of ourselves than it does about competing. And 4-H, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's a lot of 4-H, the chicken people and the rabbits, and now they have furniture and all of that. They're competing for ribbons. They're competing for prizes, which is good. But the pledge, ironically, has nothing to do with success. And I think as we're raising our children and grandchildren, we need to teach them these values, these moral values, which we're going to talk about. Galatians is going to fill us in on that. So let's go through the 4-H pledge. Very simple. The 4-H pledge says this: I pledge my head to clearer thinking. I pledge my heart to greater loyalty. And we have great loyalty with Jock Williams there today. We'll talk about that a little bit. I pledge my hands to larger service. I love that word, larger service. And I pledge my health to better living. So my head to clearer thinking, my heart to loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living, and for what? For my community, my country, and my world. Bing, bang, boom. For my community, my country, and my world. There is nothing in that pledge about themselves. Isn't that amazing? We need this pledge, boys and girls, now more than ever. Beyond us, the last part, and they added world in 1973, I told you that. Pledging all these parts for my community, my country, and my world, thinking bigger than just the show ring. Let's go over to Galatians, and Galatians is going to kick us off here, and it's chapter 5, verse 22, and it says, but the fruit of the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, we talked about fruit, right? You can recognize a tree by the fruit it bears. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against all of these, there is no law, St. Paul tells us. Boom, bang, boom. You wouldn't need law if we practiced patience, goodness, kindness, peace, and it goes on, love and joy. And those things that Paul is talking about over 2,000 years ago in chapter 5, is exactly what we're going to learn with the 4-H pledge. It's just what they're talking about. But wouldn't that be a wonderful world? And I love that last line. Against this, there is no law. If we all practice or live this stuff, the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace. It goes on, self-control, patience. You wouldn't need law. Wouldn't that be amazing? And don't tell me, when I die, heaven will be like that. We can create heaven here. And if you're of a different belief background, if you want to believe nice place, that's fine. But we can create a better world, like the 4-H pledge says, head, heart, hands, health, country, community, country, and world. So let's start with, okay, we're good. Let's start with head. And the first part of the pledge, we're going to dissect this. Head for clearer thinking. Colossians says this, set your minds on things that are above, not earthly things. Set your mind. It doesn't set your sights. That would be like a success principle, right? It says set your minds, the way you think, the way we think. Big Dave is nodding in the background. And the word set, like when you work with a mason, I said this before, they set in stone, right? They set it so it's there permanently. So Paul tells us, set your mind. Not just try to put your mind or try to think nice things. Set your mind on what is above. And I say this every week. We're not here to convince people to be a Christian. There's plenty of you that have very good beliefs, Buddhists, whatever, Muslims, about highness. Set your minds on what's above. We look too much at earthly things. We look too much at what people have. Okay? To someone else, I'm a millionaire. It's all relative. So let's not focus on the earthly things. Let's set our minds on things above. Ephesians says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and evil speaking be put away from you. Boom. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. I fall prey to this once in a while. And if anyone in this classroom says that they never do, they're lying. Because we've all been hurt. We've all been discouraged. We've all been confused. And we all fall prey. And it says here in Ephesians, let all, not some, not the ones that bother you more, not the people you don't like, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and evil speaking, that's called gossip in today's world, boys and girls, and evil speaking be put away from you. So we pledge our head to clearer thinking. The way you have clearer thinking is getting rid of all the bitterness, and it's not easy to do. Trust me, I'm the poster child for trying to get rid of bitterness, okay? And what you're going to hear here, words of wisdom, boys and girls, is the truth about me. And in my failings and in my wrongdoings, I do this program that hopefully you will all identify with that and help make a better community, country, world. That's what's so great about St. Peter. St. Peter was the most bumbling, confused, uneducated, tongue-twisted guy of all the apostles. We could all relate to Peter because he was, the guy sitting at the end in the back of the classroom shooting spitballs. But Jesus made him the first pope. Why? Because he could see in Peter the greatness that Peter couldn't see in himself. God sees the greatness in all of you as well. And so let all bitterness. The great Lucille Ball. Lucy, I'm home. 1951 to 1957. My parents loved that show. My mother said they'd put their robe on and her pajamas, and my father, they'd sit and watch in the big Zenith black and white TV. Lucy says this, things come hard, but wisdom is the hardest to come by. Things come hard, but wisdom is the hardest to come by. Why? Because wisdom is discernment. Wisdom is understanding. You could be smart. You could tell me what the square root of 72 is. It does not mean you're wise. We put too much emphasis on people who we say, oh, they're smart. People who are wise. My Aunt Margie was wise. But you know where she went in the 30s? Special school. which we would call, in my day, special ed. Okay? But wisdom, because wisdom takes understanding. It's looking at the other person's point of view. It's listening to the other person's point of view. I'm getting excited. It's getting deeper than just learning facts and figures. Intelligence is not wisdom. Wisdom is that Jesus was wise because he was turning the Pharisees on their head. They had intellect. That's why they couldn't see him. And he was turning them on their head, saying things, love your enemies. Talk about clearer thinking. All right, we have one more in this, but you know what? It is 11:30. Jock, why don't we go to the sponsor, and then I'll keep zipping along.
And we thank you, T-Boz, for your presentation of Words of Wisdom and Moments of Meditation. And we'd like to thank our sponsors for allowing us to bring you the quality community radio programming that you're able to listen to at this particular time. We also want to encourage each and every one of you, Thursdays is your day here at WAPJ. If you're a business, artist, venue, or person of interest, and you want to blast off to the community to let everyone know what you're doing, what you're up to, and what you're all about, then indeed, Thursdays is your day. So let's make it happen. Just give me a call, and you can make the magic happen right here in the WAPJ studios, or you can let your fingers do the walking so we can do the talking. Whatever suits your fancy, because we aim to please here at your local community radio station, WAPJ Torrington. So with that said, we return the floor back over to T-Boz for more Words of Wisdom and Moments of Meditation.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And when we do the Valentine's show next week, that's love, not sex. Remember, told that. But maybe you could tell the class and you come over about the song Mandy and your dance. I love that. I can't say it now. It's Jacques' story, but he has a very emotional, romantic contact or connection with the song Mandy. So hopefully we can hear about that next week. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the great Supreme Court Justice, she says this. This is still under Head for Clearer Thinking. And you could end the show right here, really. But she says this: fight. Doesn't say lay down and be calm. Fight for the things you care about. But, there's always a but in life, right, Jock? But do it in a way that others will join you. Ba-boom. Fight for what you care about. This is what I mean by Heads for Clearer Thinking for community, country, and world. But do it in such a way that others want to join you. We fight for what we care about, and we repel people. We chase them away. The reason why I'm joining Relay for Life is not only because of my wife's 10-year anniversary passing from cancer, but because the organization and Lady Diana are doing it in a way that I want to be part of that. I know it's something that she really cares about. Her late husband, Dale, passed away at age 37. They were only married 11 years. 37, handsome guy. But 23 years later, after his passing, her belief in trying to find a cure, we're going to talk about something else in a minute, is still alive. That's what I was drawn to. So do it in a way that others join you. Let's get into heart. And it says, the part of the pledge, heart for greater loyalty. There's a word, loyalty. John chapter 15, verse 13 says, greater love has no one than this, to lay down your life for another. Wow. Lay down your life for another. That does not mean jumping in front of a speeding train. What Lady Diana is doing with Relay for Life is taking time, going to Monday night meetings, making these beads, registering, all the things that she has to do with this. And the greater love is she's doing it, and she doesn't know the people she's helping. And she doesn't know when the cure will come. But she's putting her time aside. No greater love is this than when one lays down his life for another. Just what Jock Williams did today. Had to come all the way in. He has some personal things he's going through. Bad, icy weather. But because of his loyalty to the community, the country, the world, the loyalty to his beliefs, that's why people want to join him, okay? The loyalty to me, the loyalty to this program, he made it happen today. So he put himself aside, laid down his life for another. Not only me, but all of you. And he doesn't even know the people who are listening in Tallahassee and South Carolina and all these other places. But when people put themselves aside, that is loyalty. That is a greater love. We look at Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. I've used this one before. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born to adversity. Boom. Who is born to adversity? Who are my brothers? Jim, Dan, Tommy, Bill, Charlie. These men were not my blood brothers, but through adversity, their loyalty to me and the way they were raised by their parents, their loyalty is what keeps our friendship together. Some of these guys, I'm going on 10 years. You want to know something, boys and girls? I'm going to tell you the truth. I've been involved in model railroading. I've been involved in showing antique cars. I've been involved in dairy programs. I did a lot. I never had friends for 10 years. Partly my fault. These guys I've known for 10 years. So, yeah, my wife passed away 10 years ago, but I have friends. Barbara, right? You call her brother, right? She's a woman, the brother. 10 years I've had these friends. That's the best 401k you're ever going to have. Born to adversity. We all went through stuff. We're still here together and enjoying the good things like weddings and all of those things. This is by an unknown person. Trust is earned. Put your pencils down and listen to this. Trust is earned. Respect is given. And loyalty is demonstrated. However, betrayal of any one of these is to lose all of them. Oh. You can't say I trust but say I don't respect. You can't say I respect, but I don't have loyalty. It doesn't work that way. Trust, respect, and loyalty, as it says in the pledge, right? My heart to greater loyalty to whether it's a cause or in a relationship or to a child or to an idea, as Ruth Bader says, have people join you. But if you void one of those, they all go. If you void trust, guess what? And I can tell you the truth, it is you're going to lose respect. Both. And then loyalty. So the pledge focuses on our heart to greater loyalty. And again, when you're showing dairy cattle, okay, and you're out there trying to get first place, you're not thinking about the other kid in terms of your heart and loyalty. But these principles were built into these children so that now as they go out into the world, they're applying them, hopefully. But I think these are great concepts for us. Let's look at hands for larger service. And I love the word larger because a lot of us think, in town, which is good, and, I'm going to do this. But larger, the pledge, when Otis wrote this, our hands to larger service. So like what I'm doing and what Diane is doing for Relay for Life, what Jock did today, coming out and still doing, a larger service. There are people that may benefit from the fundraising I'm doing, like I said 10 seconds ago, that I don't know, but it's a larger thing, okay? It's bigger than just me. Here's a statement. The core of Christianity and Buddhism, and Muslims feel this way, and Jewish people, the core of it is to serve others rather than be served, right? It says in Scripture, Jesus says, I came to serve, not to be served. That's the core of our Christian belief and the others. But the question is, if someone is an atheist or agnostic or a non-believer, can they still have this value? Guess what? Yes. Yes. You don't just have to be a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist to have these things about heart, hands, and health and larger service and loyalty. There are people who do not prescribe to certain religions or concepts, but they too practice good moral code. They practice things like it says in Galatians, kindness and joy and patience and peace and self-control. Of all of these things, there is no law. So we can't segregate. We can't be prejudiced against people who don't sit in the same pew as us, who don't believe like we do, who don't. That's not the Christian message. When Jesus instituted the Eucharist. He said, "This is my body. This is my body. I give up for all." He didn't even know there was going to be Presbyterians and Lutherans at the time, or Muslims, or a Buddhist, or whatever. This I give up for all. ALL. So if we want to live in a better community, country, and world, if we want to pledge our heads to clearer thinking, then we have to realize that people can give larger service and they don't have to be in the same tent as us. We look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11, and it says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. So if you're giving of yourself, if you're giving your time, if you're helping a cause, don't worry if there's nothing in it for you. Okay? Don't be Meshuggah. Sylvia, they must be Jewish. Sylvia's nodding her head. She's patting Dave on the back. In other words, do things to help people when there's, like we keep saying about this Relay for Life, I may never know the kid or the man or someone that'll benefit from these fundraising efforts. No one may never come up to me and say, thank you, Tommy, because you helped Diana raise this money for this, that I am healed. I may never hear that. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. The guy upstairs knows. Let's look at this quote over here by Romans, and it says chapter 2, verse 10, okay? Be devoted to one another. Devoted, right? Not just be chummy. Be devoted to one another, okay? And love each other and honor one another, not thinking about yourself. We talk about that a lot. So in the hand part, larger service, if you're not thinking about yourself, that's good. That's how you can give larger service. We talked about the late Jimmy Carter. After he was done with his presidency, he was still out there with AmeriCares. That guy really lived it. He walked the walk, as they say. Here's a great quote. We can almost end it on this one, too. This is by Tim Fargo, who is the founder of Social Jukebox. He says this: leadership is service, not position. Boom. Leadership is service, not position. We can end the show right on that. You know, the real title of the Pope is the servant of the servants of God. His real title is not Pope. It's the servant of the servants of God. So where is he at the pyramid? At the bottom. At the bottom, where Jesus was. Not at the top of the pyramid. At the bottom. Leadership is service. So this 4-H pledge to enhance the greater service is so key to our everyday life and for our giving. Leadership is service, not position. We get into the health portion and we look at Psalms, and it's Psalms 147 verse 3 says, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. There are the wounds of the broken heart. You know what other wounds there are? Hate, indifference, jealousy, prejudice. Those are the wounds. That's the health that we have to take care of. Yes, we have to take care of our physical health, go to our doctor, make sure we have blood work done. Those are very, very, very important, okay, especially as we age. But the wounds that come from indifference or substance abuse or sexual abuse or all those things, those are the wounds that have to be bound up and healed. That's where we need the healing, in those wounds there. Two more before the takeaway. Proverbs 16, verse 24. Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. Wow. Just what Ruth Bader said about have people join you. Sweetness. My father always said you get more bees with honey. Sweetness to the soul are kind words, but health to the body. What are we saying to people? What are we saying to ourselves? What's our self-talk? That's even more important than what we're telling the world. But health, mindset, health, so important in being a productive member of society to impact our community, our country, and our world. So the words you use are powerful. They could attract or they can repel. the late Bob Urich, right? The great actor from Spencer for Hire. I used to love this show. He had a 67 Mustang Fastback that I think it was green from 1985 to 1988. And Avery Brooks, great African-American actor. This is Black History Month. Great on that show. Robert Urich says this: a healthy outside starts with a healthy inside. Boom. He just summed up all of the things of the 4-H pledge. A healthy outside, hands to greater service, loyalty, clearer thinking, health with each other and our own, starts with an inside. All of these things we talk about goes right back to Galatians. The fruit of the Spirit is joy and love and peace and patience and goodness and faithfulness and self-control. So Bob Urich from a TV show goes all the way back to our buddy St. Paul walking on the roads in Greece and Philippia and Thessalonica. A healthy outside begins an inside. You cannot help the world. You cannot think you're doing well if you're not practicing some inner stuff. Thank you, Robert Urich. Let's look at the takeaway. I love this. And listen to the song. The song is beautiful. It's a soft song. Turn it up. Sit down. Don't worry about the dog and the cat and the snow outside. Sit down and listen to the song that's going to follow it. Ann Ruth. It's funny. My mother's name was Ann. My mother-in-law's name was Ruth. Ann Ruth Shabacker. And here's the takeaway. All right? Each day comes bearing its gifts. And I love it. It's almost like a bird. Its gifts. Untie the bow. Boom. Each day is an opportunity for us to what? Have a better head for clearer thinking, a heart for greater loyalty, hands for larger service, health for better living. Each day we can untie the bow for ourselves because every day is a gift. We can untie the bow for ourselves, and better yet, we can untie the bow for others. Relay for life. And we can be the seeds that are spread into the world that can be planted in the hearts and the minds of other people. We can be the seed. We can be that seed if we go right back to our buddy Robert Urich and Avery Brooks, inside. If we talk about Lucille Ball and wisdom instead of intelligence, okay? If we talk about leadership as service instead of position. If we go right back to St. Paul, and he says in Colossians, set your mind on what is above. Boys and girls, it's been my pleasure to do this program today, and I want to thank all of you for coming in with the snow. I want to thank Stan, the man with the coffee and everything. George, wonderful job. There is a mop. We'll take care of the water. Nice meeting you, Dave and Sylvia. And please, we will be back next week. Be careful going home. Be careful going out today. It is going to turn to rain later, but that's not now. And take the time, boys and girls, to give your hands, your heart, okay, and your health and your mind and all of that to doing what is right. And we can impact our community, our country, and our world. Be yourself, everyone, because everyone else is taken. Jocks, spin that beautiful song. Bye-bye.